How to use your Replace Z option in AutoCAD. AutoCAD offers an option that when you're snapping one entity to another, to ignore the Z-axis of the entity you're snapping to. To demonstrate what we mean, we're going to go into the fitting bin and grab a piece of rectangular duct. Normally what you'd do is you would come into your parameter box, size it to what you'd like, and then you'd come into your elevation box and give it an elevation like 15-foot bottom. Notice that means that I am currently holding the duct at 15-foot bottom. It is where we want to place it. However, we know that we want to place this duct 5 feet off of the wall. And the wall, as you can see as it's notated here, the top of the wall is at 10 foot. So what can happen is we go to do shift right click and we go to use a snap from command. And then what we do is we go to click on the top of the wall. Now keep in mind that at this moment in time, I am holding this duct by the center node. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click that right now onto the wall as a base point, hold in the direction I want to offset from. I'm going to type in 60 and then hit enter. And remember, there are separate tutorials on how to use the snap from command. This is a replace Z tutorial. Now that I've used the snap from command, I can place my duct on the drawing. The problem is when I go to click on the duct and find out where it is in elevation, you can see that the center of duct is actually at 10 foot. Even though we had set the elevation of 15 foot. And the reason why is I was holding the duct by the center node, and the second we used the snap from command and we clicked on the top of the wall, which is at 10 foot, AutoCAD made sure the duct center line was even with the wall. It snapped to the Z-axis. So there is a feature to override this, and it is a good feature to know how to utilize. You just need to know when to turn it on and when to turn it off. To use the feature, we must go into AutoCAD, into the command line, right click, go to options. Here we must choose the drafting tab. And in the bottom left, you'll see that it says replace Z value with current elevation. You can see that it's unchecked currently. If we check it and press OK, if we go to do the very same command, this time the duct will be at the proper elevation because AutoCAD will use the wall or the base point we're going to click on as an XY reference, but it will not snap the node we're holding to the Z. So we're going to once again go into the fitting bin. We're going to grab a piece of rectangular duct. We're going to come right over into the elevation box. We've got it set at 15-foot bottom, exactly where we want it. We're going to hold down the shift key and right click to do a snap from command. We're going to click on the wall, hold it in the direction we want. Once again, we're doing offset 60 inches, and then we're going to place the duct on the drawing. However, this time if we go to do an elevation tag or just look in the elevation box, you can see that the bottom of duct is at 15 foot high. So we've done it correctly. So this is how to use your replace Z command in AutoCAD options. The second part of the replace Z tutorial is to show you why you would want to leave it on sometimes and other times you'd want to shut it off. Also some quick methods we've created to make it easy to work with this feature. You cannot leave replace Z on all the time. To demonstrate an area that you might get into trouble if you do, we're going to rotate this drawing into the southeast isometric. Now just imagine we had placed something on the drawing at 25 foot, and that was our current elevation. And I'm going to basically keep the replace Z on. And we've set replace Z on, and what this means now is if we go to grab a piece of duct, normally in isometric view, if I isolated an endpoint and I brought this duct over to meet this fitting, we should see the endpoint node, if our snaps are turned on, right there. However, here we do not. And the reason why is our current elevation is at 25 foot. This duct, its bottom is at 15 foot. Practicad would normally snap this duct to this fitting and it would pick up the elevation. However, replace Z overrides that feature. So you can see here, if I zoom out, you can see that AutoCAD is actually holding a node about 10 feet above where we want to attach. So if we were in plan view and I actually clicked, we would go to place the duct on the drawing. Now here it's obvious and isometric that it's snapped to a node 10 foot above. But if we were working in plan view, we could see that by switching this to top, you wouldn't even know that these two pieces of duct are not attached. So when you're attaching duct to duct, replace Z should be off. However, if you're snapping any entity to a background, most of the time you want it on. So this is a feature you need to turn on and off, and you want to be able to do it quickly. There's two ways that this might be available to you. First, if you happen to be using AutoCAD MEP, in the bottom right corner of your screen, about right here where my cursor is in the tray, there would be a little Replace Z button that if you pressed it, it would be on, and pressed again, it'd be off. If you have AutoCAD MEP, that's great. You can use that feature. This way, you don't have to go through the time-consuming task of right-clicking on the command line, going to Options, clicking on the Drafting tab, and then checking or unchecking Replace Z here. So that's what you can do with AutoCAD MEP. If you don't have AutoCAD MEP, you can also have a command automatic built inside Practicad that'll automate this for you. And the system comes with these automatics as a default. If you go to your automatic bin, you will see that you have a Z on and Z off button. And if you just click Z on, you'll see that in the command line, Practicad instantly types in the OSNAP-Z command. OSNAP-Z is the AutoCAD command for Replace Z. And it sets the value to 1 instead of 0. 1 is on and 0 is off. So if you hit Replace Z on, it puts it at 1. If you hit Z off, as I'm going to do here, it then puts it at 0. You can read in the command line. So this is an easy way to turn your Replace Z on or off whenever you need it. When you're going to snap to a background, for example, follow the exercises on placing grills and snapping to a background. That'll show you a time where it's very good to have Replace Z on. However, if you're attaching duct to duct, especially in the isometric view, having Replace Z on will prevent you from attaching it at the right place. So it's important to understand when to use it and when not to use it. That'll conclude the tutorials on Replace Z.